What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I'm going to review Megan. Okay, I had not planned on seeing this movie at all, but a lady wanted to see it. She likes horror movies, so I went ahead and went out to go see this movie, and I was kind of entertained watching this movie. I have to tell you, outside of the trailer looking ridiculous with this little girl or whoever it is dancing around all suggestive when it's supposed to be a robot was funny. Going to see this movie was actually more fun for me than anything else. I'll say this off the bat. This is a horror movie you could actually take a young child to see and it wouldn't be bad. If you're a grown up and you're looking for some really intense horror, that's not what it's going to be. But some of the situations are fucking comical, dude. You could take a kid to see this and they would enjoy it. So Megan is a Bloomhouse movie, right? And that alone makes you worry about what it is. But the movie opens up with two parents in a car with this young girl, Katie, in the back seat playing with this little fur pet. And actually, to pull it back a little bit, the movie opens up with this little girl in the backseat. The movie opens up with a commercial for these little furry toys, which is funny, will throw you off if you don't understand you're watching a movie. It'll look like a regular commercial, right? And what it turns out is that this little girl is in the car and she has one of these little fur pets. And her parents are going on in the front seat of the car in a snowstorm, and then all of a sudden they stop because you can't see anything on the road, and the car gets hit by a snowplow. Now enter into the second main character, which is the girl's aunt, Gemma, who works at this toy company that made this little furry toy and makes some other toys for her. And she gets the call that from the medical center something has happened. She's there, so she flies up to Oregon to grab up her niece because the parents are both dead and now her niece is with her. Now, the woman Gemma is not a parent. She's not a parent at all. She is what you could be considered a femcel, right? She is totally dedicated to her career and making these toys and all of this. She has collectible toys and stuff like that in her house, but she does not know how to take care of a child at all. She's a femcel, right? And you hear it as such when she goes and gets Katie from Oregon, brings her back to her home in Seattle, apparently, and they bring her into the house, and the house AI starts spouting off how many messages and how many Tinder notifications she has. This is the kind of funny shit that happens in this movie, right? So what you get is that Gemma is trying to learn how to better facilitate her niece dealing with the loss of her parents and being here with her aunt as a new mother, right? So she is not set up to raise a child. She doesn't know how to raise a child, right? So what she does know how to do in a very Tony Stark, Reed Richards kind of way is build stuff. And one of the things that she's working on back at the company that she works at that makes these toys is a new toy, this Megan unit. Now, while it failed at her job dealing with her niece, she figures out a way to make it work, and she starts working on it at her house, and she completes and develops this Megan unit. Now, Megan standing for Model 3 Growth Android, something or other, right? Is basically an AI in a robotic body that can learn with the child. It becomes the child's like friend companion. Not in the Chucky sense, but a little worse, because this one can actually go along and actually learn as it's interacting with the child. Once the child touches it, it's coded to that child. It starts being sympathetic to that child, and it can read its emotions and everything else, just like a regular, AI. right? But it has an added feature that it can actually help and counsel the child in a sense, which makes it a little interesting, right? It makes it a little bit more that the technology could be helpful in the sense that it can help the child develop or get through some tough emotional issues, right? Because the child has somebody to talk to. But the downside to that comes in understanding that getting too attached to non-organic things can be a bit of a problem, especially when the non-organic things don't understand what that should be. And herein lies the hilarity of what is M3gan, because you get this android in situations to where it's really just dealing with the world as it is. It doesn't have a concept of like life and death or anything like that. And its creator, Gemma, doesn't really have the time or understand how to explain that to her because she's not a parent. She doesn't understand that whole thing of you have to explain some of these things to children, and you need the children to actually bond to you, not to things, right? So some of the situations M3gan ends up in, as an audience, you totally understand what it is. You know what's going to happen, but it's just the AI learning and getting to the point. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of this shit. And it's funny. It's kind of funny. It's not. It is a horror movie. It is a horror movie. There, some sort of traumatic elements that happen in it, but some of it is funny. It just makes you laugh at the shit that's happening. Like the one scene which goes from horror to humorous is Jenna's neighbor has this dog named Dewey. And Dewey keeps coming through a hole in the fence, shitting on Gemma's yard and acting all, wild. Well, while Katie, the little girl, is outside playing with these arrows and stuff, she loses one. And she asked M3gan to find it for her. M3gan finds the arrow, and the arrow is through this hole in the fence, going over to the neighbor's yard. M3gan goes down there, goes to grab the arrow. The dog comes up. Dewey comes up and attacks M3gan. I mean, he fucking attacks her ass like a rag doll, right? But what also happens is Katie sees M3gan struggling and comes over to help M3gan, and Dewey bites Katie, bites the little girl on her arm. Now, she should have been more messed up than she was, but the dog did bite her ass. Now, there's a little exchange between Auntie Gemma and the neighbor about Dewey, and she wants to put it down or whatever, right? But nothing happens to the dog until later that night, where the dog is sitting in his house. It's like 3:00 in the morning, and the dog is hearing his master's voice calling him through the fence, and the dog comes up to the fence, and you just see the dog getting grabbed, and the dog disappears. Now, we all know what the hell happened to that damn dog, right? We all know what happened to the dog. But my one question that I've left this movie with is, where the hell is Dewey? Where is Dewey? They didn't address that at all in the movie, and I don't think of it as a failure for the movie. I just thought of it as something fucking funny. Like, where's Dewey, dude? I still need to know. Now, you find out a little bit, but you don't never see what happened to the dog. So I'm like, well, what happened? I need to know that. I was like, I had some pretty, satisfying and, entertaining kills in this, but I didn't get to see what happened to the dog. I mean, I need to know that. I just need to know. So, the story goes on, and what you find is that Gemma, the auntie, is learning how to be a parent to Katie and trying to learn how to bond with her niece over this tragedy that they've both gone through, which is the loss of Katie's mom and Jenna's sister. At the same time, she's learning how to be a parent now to this child going through this traumatic thing, and understanding that bonding is a human thing, and people bonding with inanimate objects can be a problem. So this plays heavily into our society right now with people so plugged into their cell phones, as I'm recording this now on a cell phone, and other stuff like that, right? It plays in that area. What also plays into it is relations with people and how the company wants to put this toy out. The CEO or whatever could give a damn less if it's working, not working, whatever. He just wants the next toy to put out, and the people that work under him kind of don't like him because he kind of treat them like shit. I mean, there's a bunch of that going on, and in the middle of that, you have this AI learning all of this stuff and how its personality and whatnot evolves. Now, one of the things that you won't like in this, if you really on it, is that men are dumbasses in this. Men are dumbasses in this. They are henpecked and dumbasses. And that's just for the movie, as far as I'm concerned. It is a movie centered around a female android, female protagonist, female supporting characters mostly. The dudes are dumbasses in it. So half of them, you don't give a shit about them getting killed. They just seem like, well, you should have died anyway, because that's not how you should have enrolled in life. But it's a movie, right? So I'm not that surprised at this time in my life. I'm just not that damn surprised. But if you have an issue with it, that would be one of the issues to have with it. The other thing is that it's not really deep. The story just moves straight on, but I'm fine with that. Everything doesn't need to be super deep for me and a lot of meaning. Some movies I watch that are just for fun, and this one was just fun to watch. It was just entertaining. I didn't leave the movie disappointed that it wasn't more blood and guts in it. I didn't. I was like, that was kind of entertaining because I laughed a lot. I laughed a lot, so that made it more enjoyable for me than the fact, oh, it's supposed to be a horror movie. It's like, yeah, but is it? I mean, some of it was kind of funny, so that was it. I'm not going to spoil the end of the movie, but I will say, if you just want to entertain and watch, you just want to watch something entertaining and get your little, 15 chuckles out of it, you could probably check out M3gan and watch it. I was skeptical on seeing the movie. As I said, my lady wanted to see it. I wasn't even thinking about this shit. I saw people reviewing it online. I was like, the fuck is with this M3gan movie, man? I don't give a shit. But she sparked up about it. We had time. We went to see the shit. I actually enjoyed it enough to make a review about it. So that's me. That's my review of M3gan. It's in the theaters right now, so you can go check it out. It's the weekend. Look, you won't even lose 2 hours of your time, and you might be pleasantly entertained. But you can also ask yourself the question of, where's Dewey? So I'm artisanmc, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.